What's up, loyal listeners? Here is the SoulCast recap, as promised. So this is only the second one, I think, that we've done, and I'll try to go back and go do the other ones here shortly that we missed. But real quick, so in case you haven't listened to the entire Patroklos podcast, or you just haven't had time, or whatever it is, just kind of a quick recap of the things that we talked about this character to just give you a head start if you want to just kind of hit the lab right away and don't really feel like listening over to an hour of awesomeness on our podcast. So this character, I mean, he's pretty basic. We talked about a bunch of stuff, but for the most part, it all revolves around a very simple skill set. First of all, he's fairly safe with all of his moves. Like everything that I just did is safe, with the exception of that, but there are very specific things that punish it. But 6xb is safe, BB, and then I did the 1B right there. But for the most part, this character is fairly safe. He gets good damage off of everything, and he gets really good Oki off of pretty much everything. And his entire game revolves around mostly doing 1k, BB, 3B, and then 6xb. And 1k is the bad boy that starts all of it. So I have counter hit set on right now, which I off, but it does 20 damage, which is a decent chunk for a poke. It's pretty quick, low, tracks. But the real pain in the ass about it is that if you watch my opponent there, Raphael, you notice you don't even have to really turn on any special settings or test to see that 1k gives you a huge chunk of advantage. And as Drake pointed out during the podcast, you can do this about 3 times, or 2 or 3 times depending on where you are, before they get pushed away. So once this happens, you can do it again, just like I did, or you can mix it up with either BB if you want to go a safe route, or you can do 3B for the launch. And remember, 3B is actually not safe, but and you can even do a 6xb if you want to. It's kind of on the slow end of 20 frames, but it's still really hard to see just because of the nature of it. But it's just one of those spacing tools, and you can still mix it up if your opponent can't see it that fast. So with that being said, that's his game. The only thing that you have to pay attention to is that to run this game, he has to be at this range. Once you get beyond that, you notice it starts whiffing, but I'm still pretty close. Like that's about max range right there. So right there, whiff. So I'm sitting about max range. You'll notice he goes a little forward when he does it, but not enough to, like right here. Let's see if I can get that sweet spot. That'll whiff. Like right there was like the sweet spot, like right at max range where it's going to whiff. So you really have to be careful of that. But once you start getting that game going, it's really easy to ride the momentum and just keep doing those 50-50s. Some things to keep in mind with that is that that's also his Oki game. Once you get that knockdown, then it's right back to doing 1Ks and BBs and all that other good stuff. And that's a lot of what his juggles are geared towards as well. So like if you take a 6xb for example, or 6xb plus K, and then that was a little slow on that. So you notice, like right there, they were right next to me. They felt, even if they tech rolled, it doesn't matter, they're still going to be right there. If they start to back roll, that's when you can start hunting for another 6xb right after it. So just something to keep in mind. But you'll notice that 6xb not only is it safe, but even though I'm doing the Oki right there, that's still 77 damage. So I mean, it's not small damage at all. You do the 3B as well, and like Drake said in our podcast, it's like right on tip range of 3B. So if they like to get up and try to attack, otherwise you can just run up and do the 1K. Do a small little dash there. Some other things of note, you have to keep in mind that you have to stay in that sweet spot range. 3A can get you close if you need to. You can always play the spacing game with 6xb because that has a decent range on it. But 1K is the big threat out of all of this. It's the one thing that's going to give you a huge chunk of advantage, and where you can start running your game, but you can't do it out here. So you just, as Drake mentioned, when he's not the best at whiff punishing, a lot of people will say, 6 XP, that's what you want to be on point with, whiff punish with that, because that'll give you the best Oki plus damage. But a lot of times, especially if it's a quick whiff or really really small window to do that, just run up, and do your 1K, or run up, grab, whatever it is. So with that in mind, since I just mentioned grabs, all of his grabs give him good overall. So that's A grab, you're sitting right there, perfect spot for it. B grab, same thing, however, they can tech roll off of that, so you have to keep that in mind. And then 6 XP plus G, that one, you notice, he's right there. So, grabs are great to start running that game. Some things, let's see, some other noteworthy stuff. 4-4A, he's got a lot of horizontal mids that you can use. I already mentioned 3A, but 4-4A on counter hit, if you manage to hit the step, it gives you a bunch of frames. You get a CE for free, which will hit right there. I just showed you BB prior to that. You can also do 236B for some healthy chunk of damage. Yeah, whatever pretty much you want. You can also get 3KK if you want. Helps in the direction there. So it does. Didn't want to register on that. It does hit. On regular hit, he's also got 1B. And remember that block your neutral after that, so you can play some setup games with that. But if you manage to hit it, you can do this stuff. 6 A plus B, 6 stuff. Let's do. Doing a little slow here. Apologize, guys. So you can follow it up with another 1B if you want to do that. And you'll notice again, Oki drops right there. And pretty much that's all you need to get started with this character. If you just keep it simple, that's what he likes to do. 6-6B, do all that stuff. Wall carry, do 2-3-6B brave edge, and to juggle with that for some wall carry. Remember when you're at the wall that they can't go anywhere, so that range issue kind of goes away. And then yeah, that's it. So 1K, keep it simple. BB, 3B. If you think they're gonna start blocking that, space out. 6-6B, and use that to kind of get in. Use grabs, because you gotta love Soul Calibur. You can't you can break grabs on reaction, but you cannot tell which grab they're gonna do. So pay attention to that. Which grabs are they breaking, etc., etc. And that's all we got. So thanks for taking a listen to this. Definitely hit up the podcast. Drake gave a bunch more stuff to consider, but